All right, I think I got it. How's this, you guys? Hello, I think we got sound. Do we got sound? All right. I need a thumbs up on sound. I think we're good. I think I got it. Oh, good. Thank you, Susan. I appreciate you. Welcome, Susan Thames. Looks like you were one of the first. I got it. Sound's on. Well, you guys get to hear Sunny alert, and Cameron just went to tell me that there was no sound, but I got it figured out, so it's okay. Oh my gosh. It looks like Flavia was the first one here. She might be international, and she tried to stay awake. So if that's you and you have to come back and watch the replay, hello. It's nice to see you. I hope you were able to stay awake. Let me see if you're in here. I don't think she might have fallen asleep, but I'm going to say hello to everybody. So it looks like we have Susan Thames. She's here. Hello, hello. We have Ari here. Welcome, Ari. Cameron, my hubby, he's downstairs. We both work from home, and so he's here. Paula, welcome. So glad that you're here. Peg's in the house. Right on. We have Paula. She's here. And then we have Michelle. I'm so glad that you're here, Michelle. What time is it in Australia right now? Because I was sitting there and wondering where our time difference is, because we're getting ready to hop again on time. Looks like Tammy's here. So glad that you're here, Tammy. I don't know, is this your first time in chat, Tammy? Chrisella, she's in the house. Hello, Chrisella. It's 8:30. Okay, I was wondering, Michelle, I got to keep up with you. We got Katie. Welcome, Katie. Temple's here. So glad you're back again, Temple. I'm glad that move's over. I'm sure you're adjusting to that, all of the transition and just getting back into yourself, and it's a lot moving. So I am so glad you all are here, and as we got people rolling in, I'm starting off a little bit differently today because I have a question for all of you before we, get started. But what I want to say first is that if you're new here, welcome. My name is Dawn, and this is Open Studio, where you get to come and hang out while I paint. And if you're curious about soft pastel and want to try it out, I have a completely free, let me get it here, beginner lesson on my website, and it's called the Enchanted Mushroom. And I have it right here, so I'm going to put it right here since I'm in a different camera. Woo, woo, woo. So it's only 5 colors. I get you started. There's a whole download for assets where I give you all my getting started colors, papers, get you all set up so you have a positive experience. It's a great way to start, and the link is right down in my description. All right, so welcome to all of you who are new too. We have quite a few of you who've been coming for a while, which I love. And I do have a question that I want to ask before we get started, and I show you what I'm working on today. But raise your hand in chat if you have something, a piece somewhere that you've started that's just waiting for you. I mean, I think there might be more people than we think that this has happened. Like, there's a piece waiting for you there. So I'm really curious to see if there's other people out there that have that too. Martha, welcome. So glad that you made it here today. Greetings from the other Paula. Yeah, we got 2 of you here today. We got Fantasy. Welcome, Fantasy. I think it's your first time in chat. Thank you for saying hi. Laura's here. Welcome, Laura. So glad that you made it. Oh, Tammy says she just joined the Pastel Insider. Well, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Yeah, if you want to dive deeper and get deeper into my process, how I work, I have over 80 lessons inside my Pastel Insider membership, and I guide you along the way. So definitely the place. All the links are down below in the description in this live stream. Okay, Stacy's finally made it. Hello, Stacy. Stacy, so glad that you made it to a live show. The community here is amazing. So It's just this such a high vibe. That's why I keep doing this, is because of you guys, because I love connecting with you and the community and creating a place like this for all of us to come together from all over the world is pretty special. And I can feel all that energy. We got people from the Netherlands, from Australia, I mean, put where you're from in chat. It definitely is from all over. So we got Luis here. Welcome, Luis. Jen's here. First timer. Well, welcome, Jen. I'm so glad that you made it. Let's see here. We got quite a few of you here today. Sandra's here. She made it to the live. Temple says that, yes, it's been almost 6 months, feeling settled, rested, and truly in tranquillo mode, ready to paint. Well, that's exciting. I'm really glad that you're ready to paint. So we have a few of you guys with hands up that you have a piece somewhere waiting for you. This means like maybe you've started a piece and you've set it down. You thought you had, momentum going and you don't know what really happened. You're like, how do I get back to it? Am I ever going to finish it? That's what we're talking about today. So definitely raise your hand in chat. You can put a little hand in there. You can just say yes in chat. Whatever works for you. Looks like we have a hand raised by Susan Thames. That doesn't surprise me. You're pretty prolific though. You work quite a bit. You show up a lot. Louise admits she's got more than one. I mean, I definitely have more than one. I'll put my hand up here for that. We have Peg is saying hi to Louise. That's really sweet. I don't know if your hand's raised, Peg. I think you might be a completist. You might not have any pieces around, so I'm not sure. Katie's got her hand up. Laura's got her hand. Temple said she has multiples because illness is interrupted. I'm really sorry to hear that. But I'm consistently more durable now, so I plan to begin and finish my paintings now. And then we have Tammy. She's from Vancouver Island in Canada. We have Heather. Welcome, Heather, all the way from Alaska. And Michelle, you're so sweet. Thanks for welcoming everybody. Stacy's here. She says, I wish I was from another country, but I'm just living in the U.S. in Kentucky. I feel you, girl. I feel you. I have finally started back to school of thought lesson. Oh, interesting. Sometimes we're going to be talking about a lot of things today, and one of them is just about permission. And it's just, giving yourself permission, I think, is a really powerful tool. And I talked about that in my newsletter today. And I shared, Susan Thames, who just did one of the lessons, which we'll talk about later, she really, that really resonated with her when I talked about that in this latest lesson. It was basically just giving yourself permission. I think that's really, really powerful. Sometimes we can get really caught up in our head. And I'm going to talk to you and show you about the painting. And I'm going to tell you a story about my painting here before I get started into the actual painting. Michelle says she goes, I also complete one started, I get engrossed in the piece, and then I don't start another until that's done. Yeah, I definitely have a lot of moments with that. I mean, I've been here, I know there's quite a few new people in here, but just with Pan Pastel, I been using it for 8 years now. So it's a journey. We're all at different stages in our journey too, right? So like Sandra here, she says, she's still new at Pan Pastel, but her hand's up, she's learning. So welcome. This was a big step, coming here. Like being here at this live is something. I think a lot of us struggle with showing up, and we think a lot of us have supplies that are, we haven't used a lot yet, and it makes us nervous. Like we're like, am I ever going to use these? But, we're all going through different times in our life and processing at different speeds. We've talked about that last week in the live stream, and we collect data differently. So just showing up and being in this creative community can really be inspiring and motivating, and just knowing there's other people out there all going through different stages, and you're not alone. So you're not alone. I'm so glad you're here. All right. So I'm going to talk about this painting, and it basically, I'm going to check my chat here. I'm going to switch to my other camera here. So some of you have been on the journey with this piece, and you've even probably been at this moment, because I know I've erased this twice. And many of you have been with these live streams as they've evolved over 2 years. I mean, it has been a long journey. And I feel like sharing some of the stages that we get in, even though I've been with doing this for a long time. You know, I stand in front of this painting and I go, wow, I haven't touched this painting and it still feels strange. But what I've done over the years is come up with a few tools that I'd love to share with you today that have helped unblock me or just reconnect with the piece. So Louise says, I get to a point in most pieces where frustration kicks in and it isn't going how I want, and then I have to really push through to get them finished. A bit of self-doubt, most likely. Well, Louise, I'd like to offer even another perspective, and I'm sure some of the stuff I'll talk to today is that sometimes we start something and our learning and all of that haven't caught up all the way. Like we're still processing how to complete that piece. So maybe the gap in between now and when you started it is you've had time to fill that in with processing, seeing something, maybe something clicks that really wasn't there prior. So this piece right here has been, I think it's been 9 months, and it might even be a little bit longer, and I've had it for a while. And the thing is it's been through so much. It was going to get prepped to do the auction. My last auction that I did 6 months ago on Facebook. I brought it out and I was going to finish it. Now, I did a live starting this a while back, playing around and just coming up with the idea and doing that. But it just kind of lost its steam, and it's been through all of this time with me. I've pulled it out a few times, and what I'm learning is, you know, it's a feeling that you get. What's that feel like when you stand in front of a piece and you really haven't touched it in months? And for me, the biggest feeling that I can give you is disconnect. So I'm all about energy. So if you get to know me in that way, I paint about energy. I'm constantly trying to tap into energy. And I really feel like our artwork, you're infusing energy into the canvas. And it takes energy to get in alignment with a piece and to build something that I call momentum. You know, we want to build up momentum. And when that thread of momentum gets cut, it is hard to get tapped back into it again. Number one, we might have a feeling of failure, which you haven't failed. The thread has been, you know, severed, and you just need to like weave that back in or tie a couple, you know, friend knots in there and reconnect and reel it back in. You know, you got to reel that painting back in. So what I do is I will put it up, I'll get ready. Maybe I'll just go pick out the colors again. Or maybe I just sit with it for 15 to 20 minutes and observe it. Maybe I'll take a photo of it. That has really helped me. But I don't want to put pressure on myself. I want to give myself permission to go back into the painting where I am now and who I am now. Because we're not always the people we were months ago. Like we're evolving so quickly. So thank you, Louise. I'm glad that you think that's a good way to think about it. Temple says she can totally relate to that. Thank you, Michelle, for your kind words and for cheering everyone on. But hi, oh, Francine's here. Wait, I gotta say hi to Francine. Hello, I'm so glad you're here. She's stuffing hay bags in the rain, but I'm on her phone in her pocket. You're so sweet. You're so sweet. So yeah, the friend knots, Temple. You got to build you got to weave that little friendship bracelet back into your piece and create that thread. And so sometimes we're like, oh, well, I failed at it. I don't like where it was going. I mean, look, I started off, I'm erasing parts. That's what's really cool about this medium is I can erase parts and go, okay, well, what am I not liking? Because those 9 months ago, and then when I revisited again, and then I brought it back up for the last auction, I thought I was going to put this in the last auction. Now I have an auction coming up April 7th, so I'm prepping for that. And I had to pull pieces of what I want to finish and all of that, and I'll be sharing some of those during these live streams along the way. I think I only have one more live stream before the auction, but the thing is that I have to sit with it and go, okay, when I go revisit it again and I stared at it for 15 to 20 minutes, I was like, you know what? I don't like this. I fussed with this multiple times. I have another idea for it. And the idea came to me, and I don't think I would have been in the same place that time ago. It's really interesting because sometimes a painting has more of a voice than you give it credit for, because the painting is, I believe, your intuition and you and your subconscious having a conversation, and your higher self, whatever you're tapping into and trying to get in that flow, you're having a conversation. So if it doesn't believe you're ready or it's ready, it will tell you. So I'm feeling like this one's saying, you know what, I'm ready now, Dawn. I'm ready to go out in the world and find my person, you know, whatever. So I erase this, and I'm okay with that. I don't take that as a criticism that I failed. If you got to go erase an eye on yours, Luis, or tap into something, maybe you're feeling like, oh, I see it now, and I didn't see it before, because we can't process everything that quickly. So with this, I go, you know what? I kind of want this path to maybe trickle over here a little bit, come down. I don't know. But this was the main thing, and I've erased this twice, so I think I have an idea for it. And then what I did is I personally, I don't know, how many of you that maybe have rituals before you start painting? Does anybody here have like a type of pattern you go through, something you do before you get in your studio? So I would love to share that with you today too. So let's see, we got quite a few in here today. Hello everybody. If you're new here in chat, this is my open studio. Welcome. My name is Dawn. I always love to chat with everybody. And if you say hi, tell me where you're from if it's your first time. I love that. Hey, Laura's in the house. Welcome, Laura. So glad that you're here. So glad. Well, Francine, I'm so glad that resonated with you. You know, even though you're in a barn doing hay, the universe was like, Francine, you got to get on that phone and tap into the live today. Super stoked that you're here. Many of you have been here for quite a long time. Many of you are Pastel Insider members. Many of you have been on this journey since it started. I've been live streaming for over 2 years now. I can't believe it. So here we are. We have a few people maybe sharing some of their rituals that they have. I love, Temple, how you really hone in on some of the depth of the things that I talk about. So I'm really glad that you're back. So glad that you're here. The friend knots. I just love that. So Laura says she lights a candle setting and lights a candle, sets out her crystals. She makes her space very zen. Michelle says, I think if I didn't have planned out piece and was experimenting, I would have unfinished pieces for sure. I agree. I agree. Holly Wheeler says, hi, good to be here. Always so inspiring. So glad that you came here, Holly. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my ritual. I have a little altar over there. I go and I touch the things and I wake them all up, and I have a little rattle, and I light my candle. That's my big one. I light a candle almost every day. So that signifies to your consciousness that you are going into a different segment of your moment there. Now we're using different brains. Our brains are different. When we're going from admin mode, if we're busy at our work doing our full-time job, and then we're going in the studio, it's a different way you're using your brain. And that can be really hard to shift from transition in from one to the other. So having a few little ritualistic things that speaks to you and your belief system can be really helpful. So for me, I'll light a candle, and then I have some sound bowls. I'll ring my sound bowls. I'll connect. I'll ask anything in that I personally want to talk, support. And then when I go into my space, sometimes I will sage myself and sage me. I love the feeling of sage, cleanses any emotions, because as creatives, we're emotional people. If you've never tried saging, I use Palo Santos and I use sage, but if you've never tried it and you're open to it, check it out and then feel the difference. See if you can tap into the difference, because my husband's not really into all that stuff, but he sure likes the saged house. He says it feels lighter, better. I open my windows, I ask for anything that's not serving me that can leave, all that bad juju, mojo, anything, that type of thing. And then I just go in and when I have a piece like this too, I'll go pick all the colors. And that can take time because we got to dig them all out. What colors was I using? All of that. So I went and I dug out all of these colors today. And then I went into, taking a photo of the piece, looking through the camera is very helpful. And then also, evaluating it a little bit, like for the person that you are today. It's really important for me to remember I'm not that person 6 months ago. I feel like I am almost a whole different person from 6 months ago. And I don't know if any of you guys can relate to that. So if you can relate to that, I'd love to hear it in chat. Do you have a piece lying around? I would love to hear what you're working on. Tell me what you're doing, how you're feeling. I would love that. So let's see. Louise says, music for me, I need to have nice music playing. I also play with music. I have a few playlists that really get me going. That's really helpful. And so yeah. I'm going to also, okay, just a second. I'm going to grab a drink of water. Okay. Let's see here. So I'm going to start diving into this one, and I'm going to start working on it, and I have a few things we can talk about along the way here. Now, I have my wands that I'm working with. These are the soft tools. This is my favorite tool. And then I have the pan pastel. And I've just picked out and matched up the colors to this piece. So I'm just going to go and kind of get warmed up. And when I do get warmed up, I might go with what might be speaking to me first. I'm going to try to go bright here. I know I did that before, but I've done a few other pieces lately. Now I'm working on a paper, for those of you who are new here, I'm working on a paper called UArt. It's a 600 grade, and it really works well with pan pastel and the soft tools because it doesn't tear up the soft tools. So that's really, really, really important. So all of these type of basic supplies, how to get started, everything I'm using is available in that free lesson in my free library. So you can just go to my website below if you are interested in diving in. I also have a few other videos here too that you can look at. So I'm just erasing this down a little bit. Let's see. I love the idea of making a friendship bracelet that they're saying in chat here, that of every time you finish a project. Think if I did that on ones I have already done, I think you'd be quite surprised, like a physical representation of your projects. I like that. That is pretty powerful. I think, I got supplies for that. We all have like supplies for all kinds of stuff. I mean, That would be a that would be a bracelet and a friendship to yourself, you know, a connection with you as an artist. And people be like, what's up with that bracelet? You'd be like, yeah, man, these are all my projects I've been, you know, finishing. I love it. I love it. Let's see here. Temple says, well, I guess as a ritual, I have a bit of self-talk. I need to disrupt the unhelpful stories. So usually it's what if I mess up? I can't get it to say what I want it to say. Yeah, I can relate to that one, Temple. And a lot of times the painting has something to say, or, you know, we're just at a spot where we almost put too much pressure on to the event. And I've had to go through that a lot with myself recently because I went to that golden residency. And when I came back, I just really wasn't the same person. And I had a lot of ideas and I was kind of jumping a little farther on the ideas in my head than what I was ready and what I had processed. So I ended up finding a happier medium and just, you know, when we're stuck or we feel like we're frozen, then remove all the pressure. Go get a freaking scratch piece of paper, something that's not precious, cardboard, whatever, and scribble. Like really break down the precious, get rid of it, just so you can kind of reconnect with your art, reconnect with your space, and get that, you know, flowing in a really positive way. Because if we're putting the pressure on, I find I do the best when I release the pressure and give myself permission just to, you know what, whatever happens on this piece is meant to happen. And really it's about not finishing it. It's about the lessons that it's teaching you along the way. And that's from my own personal journey, but it's not the same for everyone. But I really do believe that when you're open to it being more about the process and not about the finishing of the piece. So it's like right here, I'm tapping back into my process. I don't know what the finish is going to be. I don't know if I'm going to love it. I don't know if it's going to be a piece that I'm going to put in the auction for sure. But I do have a little bit of a relationship with myself that I trust. And you got to build that relationship up with yourself. And then you start trusting it even more. And you're like, oh, I know this feeling. It's come up before. And I trust that if I do these few things, I know it will shift, right? So let me catch up on chat here. One of my biggest lessons, says Temple, this last year is to reply, what if it turns out great? That's wonderful. I think that is a huge, really good lesson, Temple. I love you sharing your bits of wisdom in here with the community. And if there's something that's worked for you guys that you find has helped, you know, feel free to share that in chat. Someone it could tap and help someone that we don't even know. People that watch the replay later that have come into the community that can't come to the live. I mean, you think about it, about 40 of you on average come into the lives. But, you know, I have quite a few views. So, you know, they get to come into chat, they get to read the chat. And I've also got something new coming up where I did it on the last live stream where I was able to poll all of the, I was able to timestamp everything through the conversation. So I'm really excited about that. And I was able to recap and pull the conversation for timestamps for new people coming in. So I'm going to be going back and doing that with each one of my lives, starting with this one today. And I'm just really excited to be able to share that. So I'm trying to bring up this, and I think I'm going to bring this color in too, to kind of create a transition. I think that's what it needs. And then I can bring up some white here. And I don't know how bright I want things yet, so I'm going to kind of be a little bit conservative. but I do know I like the rainbow better this time. It took 9 months, you guys. Like, it has a voice. It just took a while, you know? All right, let's see. Laura says, I have 2 pastels set aside, 1 watercolor, 2 acrylics. In time, they will get done, but I just don't push it. Exactly. They'll speak to you, you know. Sometimes I have a whole wall here. You can see a little bit in the back corner here. I'll move where I tape up pieces that I want to finish. They're way down there. I have a whole wall that I kind of tape them up, and then I also have them taped up on boards. And I have about, you know, 6 pieces like that are kind of like, well, where are they at? What stages are they at? And they will talk to me. I do believe that they talk to me. I do. Let's see here. Temple loves that idea. Michelle says, coffee, clean my art desk, ready for the next piece. And I currently have Forest Royalty on my art desk and cannot wait to do more of it today. Oh, that's an oldie but goodie. Forest Royalty. I really love that piece. I have the original still. It is still with me, so I'm figuring out what I want to do with that. But I love that piece. Hello, MJ. So glad that you made it. Thanks for saying hi to all of us. It says, I must say that the cream UArt is not helping. I have been fighting the paper the whole way. I far prefer the black. Even wet the pastel color to the background and go over it again with dry pastel. You know what, Louise? What if you just transferred that lesson onto the black paper? Try it out. Go through the whole thing, but, you know you're going to be on black. It could be. You know, I have fussed between black paper and the ivory paper for years. And you will see that the more and more I lean into the black paper. So there's only a few lessons, and usually those are called out because of skin tone or because of the overall lightness of it. And then, but then I've come to conclude I can do almost everything on the black. I love the black paper. It is my favorite, and I have just been really loving it. So, yeah, I think that even though, you know, you get exposed to the different lessons and ideas, that you're also going to find your way with it, right? Like, well, note to self, I'm not going to do the cream paper. You know, I know I want to stay on the black paper. So you're learning about yourself along the way for sure. I'm kind of thinking right now that looks like a tongue and a mouth to me. Abstracts are weird that way, but let's see. Paula F says, I am about to start back on your Bringer of Light lesson. I've had it blocked out for over a month, but had to put it aside to work on other major music project. So excited to get back to that one. Oh, I can't wait to see it, Paula. I hope you share that in the Facebook group. MJ says, I don't have room to store the art I have now. I am out of making more to store. Maybe a simple photo. I don't have room to store art. Yeah, I get that. If you're in a small space, that can be challenging for sure. Let's see. Francine says, I'm absolutely not the same person I was 6 months ago. I have needed your encouragement to simply show up, no matter what that looks like. I can get pretty down when I'm not making. Yeah, you know, for quite a few years, you know, I've even been able to this year really recognize that the art was a regulator for my nervous system. So if you don't make that time for yourself, it can be really challenging on your nervous system because you have used that to regulate yourself. And I used it heavily through raising my kids when I was younger, and it really helped me stay in a good place. Even though I had my own struggles, I felt like I was able to, it just helped me. It's my friend. The art's been my friend. And I think when we sometimes will almost, what's the word? hold out on ourselves for some weird resistance. Almost like we're intellectualizing it so much, we're not going to give that to ourselves when actually we just need to actionate, because we've been in our heads ruminating about the outcome when we really don't know how the outcome is going to be, because it's such a physical and different part of your brain that when you're ruminating and you're intellectualizing, it's nothing like showing up and doing. So you have a whole different conversation once you're in the studio and you've decided to, show up. Let's see here. Yeah, inspiration finds you moving, for sure, Francine. I think that's so true. Louise says, yes, I think I'm going to use the black from now on for sure. MJ says, about the bracelets, storing objects. Oh, I don't know what you mean, MJ. Oh, you don't have room to store art. I have now, so not storing the objects, not storing the bracelet. I think that's what it said. Paper, there are many good pastel sanded papers, even pastel matte style, and many colors too. UArt is not the only option for a good surface. Totally understand, MJ, but I have to say that this paper allows me to have the range and the layering capabilities with the my style. So you have to find what paper works for you and for your expression. I have right here a video. I'm just going to give you the physical view. I did a UArt versus pastel matte. And in pastel matte, there's like masterpieces, and the Clairefontaine pastel matte, and the Canson velvet paper. Amazing papers. They are amazing. Now, if I want to integrate pencils into it, the style that I use, I have a hard time with pastel matte. It doesn't allow me, and I show you in this video. So if you want to check that video out, it's on my YouTube, just in comparing it with my style. So if you end up with a style that's a little bit more meticulous, where you're going through something like pet portraits, fine art, where you're replicating like realism, and you know where you're going, I think there's definitely, those papers can serve you. But for me, the UArt has been really great because I don't feel limited, because I can layer the pencils on top. But not everyone can get the UArt. So those other papers are wonderful too. It's just knowing that their layers could be more limited, and we have to be a little bit more conscientious of how much pastel we're putting down on the lower layers. And so, yeah, so I talk about that in this video if you guys want to check that out. I'm just going to put this on here. But it's definitely a good point. There's all kinds of papers out there to try it out, but your paper definitely affects your experience. So if you are leaning in and inspired by my work and my style and what I do, you would want to work with a similar paper, the same paper, because the paper is like as important as the pan pastel. So I have been working with that a lot lately, especially since I've gotten back from the Golden residency, of pushing papers in different ways. Like I worked with a watercolor paper that was a hot press. How can I push that and get the look I want, but I'm not able to do the same layering? So it's a lot about exploring and finding what brings you joy along the way and giving yourself permission to do so. This live stream is all about permission, you guys. We got to give ourselves permission, right? That's really important. Yeah, so I'm absolutely, okay, we did that one. Let's see. I was able to use Fisher 400 before they stopped selling. Oh, I haven't tried that out. Is that a paper? So Laura says, I'm always down for trying new supplies. It's safe to say I've tried all the other papers. UArt's the only one that takes as many layers as I want. Thank you, Laura. It's really true. If you really want to have the layering capability, it all depends how you're using soft pastel, because the soft pastel family is, a big range. You're using sticks, you're using pan pastel, or you're using pencils. How are you working with it, and what is working for your journey? But I will guarantee 100% that if you're frustrated, you're not really acknowledging the paper is a huge part of the creative process. So finding one that makes you happy is very important. Oh my gosh, is Medina in the house? Stacy Medina. Woot woot. Man, thank you for the super chat. It's been a while. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. Oh, Stacy, this is a piece that I'm working on for the auction. So I'm just getting it. I'm working on it. I've kind of adjusted my YouTubes lately. The live streams are now open studios, and we're coming in and we're connecting with each other. So it's the perfect day for you to come. Thank you, everyone. You can interact with that. You can give it a thumbs up and comment on it. It's so fun. Thank you. Medina, Stacy says she loves the UArt. Yeah, we have missed her, huh? We have missed you. She says, once I found UArt, it was over. Oh my gosh. So glad that you're here. That's awesome. All right, so let's see here. I want this to look more like there's light in here. So I'm going to play with this a bit. It has been so nice seeing all of you guys here today. I tell you, these live streams, they give me a boost. So kind of wanting that to be like another world, but I'm also thinking I want to try something else right here. I'm going to see about a little mini horizon. Why not? And I'm going to use one of my pencils. And I might erase this too. So this is just brainstorming ideas. And I think I need a darker one just to put it in. Maybe I'll make it kind of a valley. Like we're tapping into another land, like a portal. I've always loved these kind of representing portals of joy. And this is where I'm working with both the pastel pencils and then maybe right at the very bottom here, I have this lime green, but I also have this really bright. Oh, wait. What if we put some blue in here too? Maybe brighter. I'm having a moment. I'm locking in, guys. I'll be right there with chat. And then what if that goes back to green? Okay, I got an idea. Now that I know it, so I've brainstormed. This is one of the lovely things about this paper. And now I'm going to have a whole moment with this piece here with you guys. And I'm going to I'm intentionally not looking at chat because you guys are so amazing and I'll get out of this moment. So I'm going to just stay in this moment for a sec. So I lowered it. Now, I guarantee you I would not be in this place if I was working on this 6 months ago. I can already feel that there's a difference, and there's a reason, because I've worked on a few pieces that have a similar feeling but different. So you got to give yourself, like, maybe you're frustrated with the timeline, but your brain knows more, like your inner guidance system. So I'm thinking of making it look like you're going into a tinier world. I mean, come on, like, that's fun. I'm excited about that. Okay, let's see. Oh, good. Stacy's just in the house. So we got chat going on, girl. So glad you're here. Thanks again for the super chat. Let's see. Yeah, I've tried Premier Pastel sheets. They have different they have a different layering capability. So it's really good to go try out a lot of different papers, like MJ is saying, you know, go for it. Try out different papers. And MJ, I'm not telling you that you only should do UArt. I mean, you have, like, I'm being really honest, like, you have to find the paper that works for you. And if other papers work for you, then that is awesome. I'm really glad for that. But I buy this in bulk, and I found my paper that makes my heart sing, and I wish that upon all of you to be able to find that thing that really helps you in your creative process. Okay. Yeah, no kidding, Stacy. I have gotten over the hump. Michelle says, a world within a world. Loves it. It pulls you right in. Thank you, thank you. I'm really excited about that. So this lesson actually here, just a second here. Like this piece that I'm working on right here is really connected to my newest, like, pastel and cider lesson. And it was really interesting to see it line up with chat today, because I was like, well, that's really an answer there, because I was trying to pick what painting out of like 3 to work on. And it's basically the lesson's called Creative Freedom. And I'm going to show you a peek of it right here. So this is the lesson. And it's a smaller, more approachable version of what I talk about. And it's all about, like, building just enough structures that you can actually relate, you know, relax into the color and stop second guessing yourself. So I give you tools for that. And, you know, I give you tools for what could really help you move through a piece, what to focus on. Abstract seems abstract, but when you know a few core things, you can really feel unleashed, and you will feel kind of that creative freedom. And I talked about that in my newsletter today, and with Susan Thames, you know, she was like, this is the first time I had a great time doing abstract. Like, she had fun. And she put that in the Facebook group, and it just rang in my head, and I was super stoked. So I had to share that today. So if you're interested in diving deeper and going in and really learning how I use this, Pastel and Cider is definitely the place to go. So it's all linked down below. You can check that out. But these kind of have a similar vibe. I'm actually making a little bit kind of the world in there similar, so I'm excited about that. I'll make sure chat is up here. Love the idea of giving abstract some structure and sinking into the color. Thank you, Holly. Thank you. The banner looks like stepping stones into a mini world. Oh, I love that, Laura. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm excited. I'm excited to have you guys all here today. This is fun. And, you know, it's fun to kind of reach out and kind of connect with you all, because I know we all are at different stages in our creative process and just trying to, you know, support each other in this community. Now I have these two pencils I really love. These are my, you know, you guys know how much I love. Stacy, you know how much I love pencils too. This is my portrait pink and my anthracoid pink. Now anthracoid really matches vermilion, and the portrait pink really goes into the permanent red zone. So I'm thinking I'm going to play a little bit with the vermilion. Now I would use some pan pastel in here, but sometimes these little spots I just go for pencils because it's easier. And I might put a little bit of this pink in there too. Okay, so now I'm going to go and I'm going to bring in some of the sky here. Let me get my wand. Okay. I want that to be lighter. So I got to bring up that value. That's still not the value I want. I'm definitely liking that better. I don't know, maybe I want it to have a little lake there, but I think I'm going to go for more brightness. And I'll catch up here with chat in just a sec. All right, let's go so white here. I need to go over that one with the orange. Yep, letting a piece just sit and kind of collect its voice, I think, is important. This definitely feels more intentional and more in alignment than I've ever felt with the piece before. So I think that's just really, it tells you something. Like if you're feeling different too, like really tapping into like, how are you feeling? How does it feel now? I'll have to go over that with another color. That one was really bright in value, but I also have a that feels so much better. I don't know what you guys think, but it feels really good. Hi, Cheryl's in the house. Hello, Cheryl. So glad that you're here. Yeah, well, you'll definitely have to watch the beginning. So I hope you'll rewatch and tell me what you think. Always love getting comments from you guys. Stacy says, I've made progress finding my art supplies, organizing the art studio, but then damn, putting new flooring in this month, so chaos ensues. Just a hiccup, right? We did flooring, and we also had to redo the ceilings all up here in this studio space. We had an issue, and I had to pull everything out of my studio, and we did the floors and the ceiling at the same time, and it was 3 months of chaos. And that was a stage where I ended up doing a lot of drawing. I really dove into drawing, and I did a lot of wood-mounted drawings because I couldn't do the pastel like I was. And it's interesting how our outlet needs to still come out, right? Because we are, you know, recalibrating, and nurturing our nervous system, which I think is really, really important. And it's interesting. Sometimes we don't even know what art is doing for us, and sometimes we do, right? So wherever that rainbow leads, I want to go. Looks like a heavenly, wonderful place, right? Thank you. I'm so excited about it, and that I got to do it here with you, that I tapped into this piece and, you know, just took a moment with it. I wasn't hard on myself. It's been 9 months. You know, I sat there and go, oh man, they're not going to want to see this piece again. And I was like, you know what? This is real. This is real life stuff. And we're not here to gloss over the creative process. And that's what I share a lot in this community and in the Pastel Insider. You know, even when you're there, it's all about, you know, maybe you're just up for watching videos for a month or 2 or 3, whatever. And that's how you process. And then you go back and try them. You know, maybe you just want to watch videos and watch the creation unfold and take in information that way. It's not about producing end results all the time. It's about where you're at and having a soft place to land, soothing our nervous systems, being surrounded by inspiration and things that we love and other people that, you know, we can connect with. So it's definitely a process. Let's see. Question. Has anyone else used the new UArt peel and stick sheets? I do know that I haven't used them personally, but I do know they're a lot like me using like a graphics to mount all my pieces like this is mounted. So it's just saving you that step. They're trying to really help you do that a lot faster. And it's a great product. So if you don't have the patience or the time to use the graphics to mount the paper and on the board, you know, that it saves you that whole extra step. So I have a video in my YouTube that shows how I mount all of my my paper. It's really easy. It's basically called dry mounting, and you buy an adhesive sticker and then you mount that, and then you can mount your painting. I mount all my paper before I work on it. So yeah, if you want to get even quicker, UArt has come out, and I think they only have it in 9x12s and maybe 12x16s. So it is great for people that are wanting to save times. Real for sure, we get down and dirty. I know, right? It's just crazy. Remodeling is a lot. So when my mom passed away 5 years ago, her anniversary was in January. When she passed away, we were able to do some work on our house about a year later, and it was crazy because you have to move everything out, and we redid our floors downstairs too, and so we had to move everything out of there. And I will say, it's taken me 5 years to start to put the soul into the downstairs, and I've been doing that the last 3 months. It's like all of a sudden this year something freed up in me, and I was able, because that was kind of a thing with my mom, and I was remodeling and decorating all of that, And this year I'm actually doing the downstairs and putting my art up on the walls. And that's going to be part of some of my videos that I'm going to be sharing on social media and stuff. So the owl that I worked on last week is almost finished, and I'm going to be hanging that in my dining room. So I'm pretty stoked about that. And then I have a piece that I made at the Golden Residency, an abstract, and I want to mount that. I mean, frame that. I already have the frame for it. I bought them at Goodwill, and I upcycled them, and I'm putting that one in our kitchen. So, and then I have just cut out another piece that might be in one of my lives where I share that, a piece for my fireplace, over our fireplace, and I bought an upcycled frame that I painted and everything, and I'm going to be putting that in there. So I'm starting to get the house downstairs done, but it's a journey, especially when you're dealing with grief and all of those things. I know that's been a journey for you, Stacy, so I'm really happy that you're back here, and it's just been lovely to have you here today and all of you here today. So definitely, if you're new here, say hi. If you are where you are coming into the replay, I'm trying to talk to the replay a little bit more, and you're new, I would love to hear where you're from. Tell me what you're working on. If you have a question, you can even place it into the questions, and I will do my best to get back to you, all right? So I would love that. And let's see. I'm going to take a drink of water while I catch up on here, and let's see here. It's 2:32. I can't believe it. Dawn, you are good at our arty emotional health. It's important. I don't think people talk about it enough. I think with all the social media that we've had over all the years, I think it's gotten distorted about people showing the perfect art process and the perfect this and the perfect that. You know, that's not what it's about. And that's what these live streams are here, you know, to connect with the community and talk about all the things that come into creating. I think us as creatives are so sensitive that really pushes us to connect with art and being creative because we're sensitive already. So on top of all that, we have a lot more, you know, layers that we're navigating because the world out there can be a lot, right? So as a sensitive, our work heals us and rejuvenates us and kind of recharges us like a battery. At least that's just my personal opinion. Louise says, I've been watching the lesson videos, but then working on a piece on my own to try not to follow step by step, just as a way of learning, and I refer back to certain things when I get stuck. Well, that's great, Louise. I mean, we're all at different stages, for sure. I mean, you've been in the Pastel Insider since it started, so I think it's great to move around and figure out what might work for you, that, you know, that you're at a different stage, you know? I think that's really great that you're testing that out and finding what kind of can level you up or help push you maybe outside your comfort zone a little bit. Okay, Louise says, oh wait, Stacy says, what a wonderful part of your journey, Dawn. It takes as long as it takes, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. It does, girl. It does. Dawn, did you ever do the door idea? Oh my God, I have a story about the door idea. Here, let me take a drink. And I know a few of you know about the door idea. And the door idea was basically, I had a door downstairs and I had a piece on it, to be quite transparent. It was a piece that just had a lot of energy in it that I just needed to move on from. And what was interesting is when my mom passed away, I don't know, I think of it as a sign of grieving, but I ended up painting over the whole painting black. And then that piece stayed in my home. We called it the vortex because, you know, we're trying to make up all kinds of things. I was going to put stars on it and call it the vortex. And now this is a door, a huge door that's in our dining room. And we called it the vortex, and it was there, and I knew it was connected to my mother. And I ended up realizing about 4 months ago, I don't know, maybe it was a little bit longer ago, I had a strong intuitive hit that I needed to remove the door, that it wasn't meant to be in there, that it was blocking something. And I listened to that, and I ended up removing the door. And it literally, my husband says this and would attest to this. He's like, Dawn, it was like a light came into the room. Like you could see a flicker of a light. And it was like the room lit up, because that door is black. It was matte black, and it sucked all the light out of that room for all those years. And I kind of feel like ever since I removed the door, I'm able to move forward downstairs. And it was almost like a symbolism of mourning, which I know I'm getting deep. My family teases me. They go, uh-oh, we're getting deep with Dawn. But, you know, it's kind of a personal story, but it is related to creativity. Is I got rid of the door, and I ended up bringing in, my owl piece is going to be in there. I got a piece of furniture that that actually can house the beautiful dishes I got from my mother and my grandmother, and I was able to put them in a place of honor and a place that I could see them, and I didn't have that before. And now I'm putting art on all the walls in other places, and that door just wasn't meant to be in there. And it was so strange, but not strange. You know what I mean? Like it's just, it had its time, and it was a kind of a beautiful unfolding of really thinking about the whole thing. And so, yeah, the door is not there anymore. I have it in storage because I haven't fully gotten rid of it yet, because I'm a little bit like, maybe I could put it somewhere else, but I almost think it's going to leave. So I feel like it did its thing, it did its time, and it gave me my lesson, and it was just interesting. So let's see. Stacy says, Luis, that is a great method. What are you working on? Oh, that's a nice question. Stacy says, I was not the same person either 6 months ago. I became disabled a year and a half ago, and I've had 2 surgeries in the last 8 months. I'm really sorry to hear about that, Stacy. It says, the last one was removing 1.5 bones from my dominant hand, and I'm finally starting to use it again. So I'm excited to be creating again. Oh, I'm so happy that you're able to tap back into something you love like that. I'm sure you have to relearn some things and all of that, but I'm just really happy to hear that you're able to create again. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Louise says, School of Thought. It's been sitting for months. I think I saw that when you shared your studio in the Facebook group. That was really fun. And Louise, I know that was your idea, and I really loved it. That we all kind of shared, well, you guys shared your studio space in the Facebook group. I saw the School of Thoughts on your easel. So I'm excited. I'd be really curious if you ended up transferring it on. You know, don't be scared of this either. You can erase that whole paper. That's the cool thing about the UArt. You can erase it and put something totally different on that cream. I mean, cream's actually a little bit harder. It will echo. It'll have a ghost. But you could go on to the dark, or leave the cream and draw up the dark, and then see what it feels like to go work on the dark with the piece. I'm thinking I might want to have some little bright steps that go over here, and that they transition. And sometimes we just have to stand back and kind of look at that, because we're going into orange. So I feel like I'm definitely reconnected with this piece. and I feel like I'm going to be able to just bring it to its finishing point for the auction. So I'm excited about that. I do auctions. If you're new here and you're new and you haven't been with me for a while, every 6 months I do an online auction in the Facebook group. And I do it with Stephanie Gagos. It's a really cool event. I know some of you guys have all been in there. Thanks for your support. And we're all prepping right now. There's a show happening before a solo show, and then part 1 of the spring show starts on April 7th. But we're promoting from now until April 7th in the Facebook group. So we promote, we show our pieces and get people that are interested and all of that. And so that's happening right now. So I do one of those every 6 months. I used to be doing them almost quite a few shows a year, and then now I just do them twice a year because it's just a lot. Okay, I need to change my towel. So one of the things, sometimes your towel gets a little contaminated and then it'll contaminate into your work. So I'm adjusting that. Let's see. Yes, Stacy and Dawn, that's why I spend my time here. Got to surround myself with people who are working towards a healthy, emotional, arty approach. I don't want to drag an unregulated mindset into my art. That is so good. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're back, Temple. I'm so glad that you're back. Yeah, that does sound hard, doesn't it? I'm sending you good vibes, Stacy H. So, Stacy H, I'm just curious, when are you able to create now, or are you still healing? So I'm curious about that. Oh, Stacy says right here, I have signed up for your newsletter. I can't access your free mushroom tutorial no matter what I try. Can you please help? Yeah, you know, I've tried. It can be really confusing sometimes if you miss the this one thing. So basically, you got a newsletter, and if you got my newsletter, any of my newsletters, at the very bottom, there's a link there if you missed the actual link in the welcome newsletter, hoping you're getting my welcome newsletter. But what it is you have to go on my website and make an account through the portal of the link that says join the free lesson library. That free lesson, or the Enchanted Mushroom. And that's the free lesson I talked about. The link's down below. You sign up for the newsletter. You get the welcome newsletter. If you miss the welcome newsletter, it's in my newsletter every week. You click on that link. There'll be a portal that says join. Then you have to put in your email address again, and then you have to join it, because that is a separate section on my website. And it is a membership section that you have to log in every time, you know, you show up to access it. So you've got to do a little password, and you're going to have an account on my site that's free. So then you always have access to it anytime. And there's a few extra other lessons in there and little freebies. So that is what you would need to do. So I don't know if you've done that yet. So please, you know, tell me and I'll help you. So glad you can create again, Stacy. I am too. Oh, good. I'm glad you're seeing the future again. Oh, the door was a canvas on the wall. It was not a door to a room like art on the wall. Oh, thank you, Cameron. Yeah, I hung the door on the wall. So it was like a canvas. That is what Cameron's clearing up. So if anyone was confused on that. Thank you, Cameron. I appreciate that. Cheryl says, I've not been feeling the best, so my art has taken a back seat for the few days. Having withdrawals, the UA art paper for me has been an amazing experience. I have the velvet, but have to try it. Yeah, the velvet's fun too. I definitely think it's a different experience, but I really enjoyed exploring that paper. I lucked out being able to getting some samples from that. So that was a lot of fun with that. I really want this to glow down here. So I'm going to work on that a little bit. Cameron knew too. Wow, what an epiphany. Oh, interesting, Dawn. The door needed to come out. Yes, it definitely did. It definitely did. Can't wait to see the final. Yeah, I'm going to show that. I'm making a video with, I'll put the owl up, show you the new space, the whole thing. So I'm excited about that. Dawn, letting go of what doesn't serve us makes room for our way forward. It's so true. Hey, it looks like I'm a little behind on chat, but welcome, Jonas. So glad you made it here today. Jonas, all the way across. I always forget. I want to say you're in the Netherlands, but I'm thinking you're in Sweden. Is that all the same? Yeah, it probably is, but that's awesome. Glad you made it here. Yes, it is very forgiving. Oh, yes, there's been a ton of rubbing it out. Yep, totally. Peg says, I can definitely see it coming to life now. I love the bird. Yeah, I want to work on the bird too. I gotta definitely work on that. I'm really happy with where it's going. I'm actually super excited, and that I got to do this with you guys. So I know, right? Wasn't that good? I love that from Temple. Okay, Stacy says, thank you. I'm starting to be able to slowly work on pieces. Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm really glad that you're able to get back into your creativity. Let's see here. So if you're in chat, I would love to know what maybe is calling you right now. What are you working on? You know, if you haven't stated that yet, I would love to know. Or any questions that you might have. This is a great place for them. I really want this to look like it's glowing. And my idea here, I think I'm gonna pull these two, I'm gonna push these two back. This one, you know what, this grass, I'm gonna do this. So watch this change. You know, I can't help myself. I gotta have some little, you know, tidbits of teaching moments here. So this grass, right now, it looks like it's, you know, this leaf is in front. And it looks a little wonky, this leaf. I mean, this petal. And so I want to push the petal back to look like it's behind. So I gotta use my little eraser here. And I think I'm okay with that grass, but I could push the grass back farther. And I might do that too. So I'm gonna let the line come through. And then I'm gonna make this lighter. So I have lots of lessons showing you guys how to paint light. I'm all about light. I love painting light. So we're going to bring this even forward, and then I'm going to push this back. And this, I'm going to grab my permanent red and put that next to here. I got a little like dance I got to dance through these days in my studio here. Oh man, it looks like I might have bonked it and I got some chip right there. Oh well. So I want to put a little bit of this in there. Let's see here. You just don't know everything you're going to want to use until you get in here. I'm kind of thinking I haven't really played with my primary yellow, so I'm going to rearrange a couple things here. Not using these two right now. And I'm going to put these under who they are. So I talk all about this in the intro lesson too, about how Pan Pastel has families. So I'm merging this up with families because these are permanent red and that's vermilion. And then Golden output 52 new colors, which really filled in a lot of gaps. But I haven't really bonded with the primary yellow as much because I like the warmer diarylide. So I'm going to actually... So this is more of a neutral yellow, but I'm going to bring it in. And I really love the wand because it allows me to loosen things up a little bit. So I want this to look like it's coming out of here. I might lose the petals and have to bring them in a little bit. But we're not going to know until we try. I'm going to try this. Thank you, Jonas. I appreciate your kind words. He says he likes the painting and the light from it too. I appreciate that. Susan Thames. Hello, Susan. I'm thinking about landscapes. The Texas bluebonnets will be blooming soon, and we will be making a trip to see them. So I'm thinking how I can incorporate the beautiful blue in the rolling hills. Well, I like that you're sharing what you're working on and what you're thinking about. I would love for anyone else that wants to share what they're working on. I'd appreciate that. You know, taking those photos on that trip, I'm sure it would be a great memory to have too, Susan. Temple says, I think I've convinced myself just to indulge in the full 53. The new color set, after picking all the colors I wanted to open stocks, it was only 50 bucks. Hubs will bring it back in April. Oh yeah. Where do you live again, Temple? I think, doesn't he travel over and bring stuff back, or it goes in a container or something? Well, that would be awesome. Wow, we got 46 of you guys in there today. Say hi if you're new. I would love to say hi to you. And welcome to Here to Open Studio. So glad that you guys are here. I'm just working on some pieces that I'm getting ready to put in the auction, and I want to finish them up. So we've been talking about that today, about getting reconnected with a piece. And I really feel like I'm doing that today with this one. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to bring in some light over here because that's probably going to affect. Now I wipe off, a lot of people might be wondering, but I use a, what should one call it? A microfiber towel, and I wipe off in between the colors. So I'm using the same wand for the full journey. And I have a tendency just to do that because That's just how I work. I've tried to separate the wands out to light and dark and all of that, and it just depends where I'm at in a painting. When you work on the cream paper, the ivory paper, you have to be more conscious of that because it goes into the paper. And I think that's another thing of what I like about this paper is that I don't have to worry about that as much. But I had a couple live streams where I did the Canson Velvet. I really loved the dark, the extra dark one. That was a lot of fun. I'm trying to refine this grass right here. And I think I kind of want it to fade in a little bit. Like not be so, I want to blur it, this whole section. That's going to push it back. It's so flexible. So we're all focused on the light here. I'm just making sure I haven't missed anything. Let me check. Temple says, I'm gearing up to join our insider classes next, join your insider classes next month. Oh, I'm excited about that. Oh, you're in Panama. Oh, wow. We are all over the world, folks. It's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Cheryl says she's still working on Wild Light. Ah, yes, Cheryl. Oh, I hope you do start the gnome in the terrarium. And the fun thing is if you don't want to put snow in it, you could put the grass in it and you can make it any season you want in that gnome. Just to think about that lesson. I love that one. So I look forward to seeing what you do with that. You're doing an amazing job on the mushrooms. I just feel like that, you know, Cheryl, the other day, you were talking in the Facebook group about just how you're able to see light more now in your work. And I just thought that was really exciting as a teacher to be able to see that you're able to see more and apply that into your work. I know Michelle Leslie, she just finished a big personal piece with her dog, Luna. And she felt like she really had a growth transformation too. She's been a part of this community for quite a while. And it's just really fun to see how you guys are evolving and watching you grow and have successes. And I'm just really, really excited. Okay, Temple says, I want to incorporate the tropical birds, flowers from here. So much inspiration just outside our door, even in the city. Oh, that's amazing, Temple. I'm sure Panama must be beautiful. I would love to see some of that if you're ever, I don't know if you're on Facebook, but I love that. That's so cool. Let's see. Louise says, container is me down to New Zealand. Oh, I thought so. I thought that was you, Louise. Okay. But ended up waiting a year for them to arrive, and it was a few days before Christmas when they came, and it was a lovely present. Oh, thank you for reminding me, Louise. Let's see. Stacy says, I was happy that I made progress in my art studio unboxing everything, but I'm being thwarted because of the flooring will happen soon. So everything's just taken out of the pod for weeks. I know, it's such a long journey. Find something like a sketchbook or, you know, even if you're scribbling, you know, you're not necessarily having to draw. Anything that speaks to you in that way where you can kind of get connected with your creativity, I think is so important. I don't know, what is portable for you that you like to do? Do you have anything like that? I'm really curious. Yeah, mobile. Okay, so you just said what I was thinking. We're connected, Stacy. We're connected. So I love that. I love that so much. Oh my gosh. Oh. All right. So I'm gonna continue to work on this light here. I also have the bird, kind of liking the whole idea of it being a little bit of a path into here. I'm going to bring this up. So with these, I could bring a lot of the tints and the lights onto my palette, but I really do have habits of just working and bringing them up naturally. I'm trying to make a transition here. Yeah, I bet it was a happy day for Luis. It would be like Christmas on top of Christmas, don't you think? Oh my goodness. I would have been happy dancing. Luis says, worth the wait, love the colors. Thank you, Luis. Mobile sketching is good for the eye and hand coordination, but I do not have a travel watercolor palette. I would blow up without watercolor. Oh, so you love to have the watercolor travel palette. Yeah, I actually got I don't have it out here, but I bought 2 versions. I've had tons of journals, and I finally invested in a moleskin art journal. And I really love it because it gives me, like, I could watercolor it in it if I wanted, but I can do my sketches in there. I'm loving the paper. I have tried a lot of journals, and it's worth the investment for me. I decided, you know what, I'm really trying not to keep it precious because it was a little spendier of a journal, and I'm telling myself, if I fill that all the way up, then I'm going to be celebrating, because I've probably only filled 1 journal up in my lifetime. I always skip around. And so even if I'm doing crazy little scribbles or whatever, I'm really trying to celebrate that if I use it up, and just, you know, what's the chance that I'm going to be buying a new one within 6 months to a year, right? So it's like we get in our head that we're going to use it all up, and it's like, no, no, no. Let's just see if we can show up consistently enough to, you know, draw, or, you know, I do a lot of just sketching, like what some people might even call it doodling, just to get ideas out. And then I can flesh those out if I end up liking them. I'm going to bring the clouds down in here, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. God, I have this random like itch on the back of my back, and I'm like dying. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to reach it. I'm using a pastel pencil. I'm like, what the heck's going on? Something's itching me. Oh my goodness. It's live, folks. Oh my gosh. I kind of want to bring these down. Thanks for the hearts. I always love those little hearts. I don't know, lately a lot of my abstracts have been merging into landscape kind of vibes. Feel like they're like little dream worlds that have been coming up. Never been one into traditional landscape painting, and I finally just had to let go of that. Like, I'm like, that's just not me. I'm not, I like to make my own magical worlds up. It feels freeing to me. Don't want to lose all that. Well, I'm so glad that you guys all were able to come today. Well, I'm liking that. Yeah, it is great. I really loved, you know, I didn't want to invest in the moleskin. And I saw an artist who I really admire using them, and he did this sketching class, and I just really enjoyed how he was using the moleskin. And I was like, I'm just gonna go for it. I bought a big one too. I bought an 8.5 by 11, like legal size, I mean letter size, and then I bought a smaller size, like a 8.5 by 5.5. You know, I find it always kind of challenging to leave some parts darker. So I really have to work on my light, or I would make it all light. And I'm really excited about having that light be more dominant. I have a couple of the Cheap Joe's Kilimanjaro watercolor journals that I haven't seen on the new American Journey Supplies website. Yeah, I haven't heard of those. You know what? All that matters is like something, I almost like kind of like the scrappier, I was using just craft paper for my sketching, and I found this roll at the Goodwill, and it was just these craft paper rolls, and then I took a a basic like clipboard and I would tear it off. And I drew on these scratch pieces of Kraft. I should show them to you. I actually know where some are. They're like old drawings. But I drew on them and it really made it not precious. So I'll grab those real quick before we go and show, because I put them in a drawer right here the other day. And I was like, you know, I got to keep those where I can see them. So let's see. These are some old drawings. I usually date. So these are from 2019. So here is my stash. And I was doing like Inktober, things like that. Like I get a lot of ideas. This was like a teacup, you know, where they tea leaves, they read your tea leaves. So this is one of my favorite ones out of it. But these were just as craft paper. I mean, I have so many pieces on here that I just played and drew. I did some, this is just ballpoint pen. Little raven, this was inspired by a friend of mine. Yeah, I just had all kinds of ideas. Gosh, this is 2019, me drawing. So yeah, this is a whole thing where I did like, what's that called? Like almost like that blind contour, you know, you just kind of sketch. But it was just like even some of my earlier pieces with my bees and my poppies. You know, it's just a great way to like let go of it being precious and teaching your nervous system that you don't need, you know, to get rid of the weight, to give yourself permission. That's been our theme word today's live stream, is permission, to just let it come out of you without judging it. I mean, I have things in here that are really weird that I just gave myself permission. Is it going to be a finished painting? No, this is how I draw. This is how I create ideas, how I brainstorm, giving myself that space to be able to, here, just a second, my screen conked out and it won't, there it goes. So it allows you to kind of like grow in a way that isn't so confining. So, you know, don't go get a fancy moleskin if you're trying to loosen up and you're not one that's really been showing up a lot, like you get where you feel like it's too precious. Go get some craft paper, man. Like, I highly suggest it. So I did a thing where I have this video inside my membership, but it's basically a video on giving yourself a permission to draw a circle every day. So I was training my nervous system to show up because it wasn't used to that. And so the only requirement I told myself is you got to paint, you know, do a circle. And so for a year and a half, it changed my life. I was drawing on this type of stuff, this craft paper. Look, I've grown a ton. You guys have seen my work. You know, I mean, some of these I can go visit and refine them now and go, okay, you know, I have a class that I did with a bird on the mushroom like that. I refined it later. Like I can come back and go, my brain wasn't there yet. My skills weren't there yet. But you got to start somewhere. And if you're so scared to mess up and you're so scared, you're almost bracing the whole time. So if your nervous system is bracing the whole time, then you get almost exhausted with yourself. Like, I've been through it. So I thought this craft paper was amazing. I did all kinds of fun things, like really got into kind of going, oh, I know what I'm liking. Oh, well, do I like, you know, geometric abstracts? You know, I'm testing all of these things out, you know, and going, oh, I like this, so maybe I'll divide that up, and, you know, I get ideas. So, you know, it just starts building up your filing system. We talked a lot about that in the last live stream. And I think a lot of the creative blocks and the things we've talked about today, it is really about permission and kind of realizing it's not just about showing up and having a finished piece, and that makes us an artist. You guys are all artists. If you're creative and you're showing up and you're painting, you're an artist. There's no certificate that goes out and says, you know what, now you're an artist today. So it's just nurturing your artist and your creative path with realizing it's not about judging your finished piece, because all the lessons are in between. When you're done with a piece, you're done with a piece. So I have discovered over the 8 years of just being in pastel that is where the energy and the life and the flow and the feeding is in the process. So I'm in no rush to finish a piece, even though I would like to. And I'm glad I woke this one up today. It's been really, really, wonderful. It feels really good. And I'm just really loving this open studio format with all of you guys. So let's see what chat says here today. Right here. Oh, there's some pieces waiting to happen there. Beautiful. Oh, thank you. Let's see. That was, okay, okay, here we go. That was the best house paper from any store. Yeah, I can see that. My perspective has totally changed and I love it, says Cheryl. Thank you, Cheryl. I'm really happy that for you. Susan says, thank you. That is what I was thinking too. My own little magic world will be fun. Oh, good. Stacy says, wow. Michelle says, I love that face. Thank you so much. Oh, there are some pieces waiting to happen there. Beautiful, says Louise. On top at the moment. Oh, I see what you're saying from the piece that you liked. Yes, it's about permission. Thank you, Stacy H. I really appreciate your kind words. She says those are inspirational and beautiful. MJ says house or brand. Yeah, house papers, you're talking about like when you go to like an art store using their like house paper that they are promoting is what I'm thinking you might be saying. The craft paper that I have, this is just a roll, like literally a roll of craft paper. I think I might even have it that I got at Goodwill that I found in the bins. So here it is. I bought like 3 rolls of it. I don't know what it's from. But this is it. This is what I got at the craft store. I love it. You can carry it around. And I put it on clipboards. And that's what I drew on for quite a few years. So I don't know where you would find that. I literally found it at the bins. So, yeah. Dawn, have you thought of a name for this piece? I haven't yet, but I have a feeling it's going to be something around the Portal of Joy. I've already done a Portal of Joy, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to sit with the piece and just kind of feel it out. A lot of times I won't know that there's symbolism, like there's a lotus here, there's a bluebird, there's a rainbow, there's a portal, and sometimes I'll just brainstorm with that and kind of think, what do all those have symbolism? What do they kind of mean? And I'll look those up. But thank you for asking, Michelle. I like that. Let's see. Stacy says, ooh, that's good. It's exhausting because I'm bracing. Yeah, I don't think we all have the words sometimes. We don't even know what's going on, and then we realize we're bracing. It's something, I feel like I hold a lot of my stress in my neck, and so I can tell when I've been bracing, It's interesting. Temple says, thank you, Dawn, and so much more experience to discover next. So much more to experience and discover next is Temple. Thank you, Temple. Jonas says, I like the painting and the colors. See you next time. All right, take care, Jonas. Paula Lewis says, I love that you keep your art history. I have mine too. Sketchbooks from college. Oh, that's cool. Michelle says, reminds me of a bracelet my grandmother bought me when I was young with a bluebird. Oh, I remember you mentioning that. I remember that. Oh my goodness. Well, okay, I'm going to finish up a little bit more in here. I'm going to work on this a little bit. And let's see here. I feel like I want this light to come out a little bit more here. I want to have it look like it's radiating, so I think these stems, I need to knock them back a little bit. Because what my thought is that I'm going to put a little bit of this in and see how it feels. So sometimes when you go white, you go too white too quick and you have nothing to bounce off of. So I'm trying to test that out here. I really want that to float. And I think I want to bring this up. So I'll have to play with this a little bit, but balancing out where that light comes out, kind of that glow. Well, what I love is that you guys have been a part of this piece today, because I really believe in the energy and the co-creating and tapping into that high vibe has been fun with all of you today. Let's see, I'm going to mix in kind of this vermilion and kind of harmonize it a little bit. So if you are watching this and you are, new, or you want to dive in a little bit deeper, and you've been hanging out with us today, and you're thinking you want to try this, the best place to start is, my free lesson on my website that I shared with you guys earlier. And if you're ready to go deeper and just really get where we work together more one-on-one, and I take you on this journey and help you along, the Pastel Insider is where we really get to do the work together. So it's less than $20 a month, and you get access to over 80 lessons. It's growing all the time. It's kind of crazy. I know it's even closer to like 90, but all the links are down below. So you can definitely go to my website. I have a page there that you can see all the lessons I have available. And there's a link, a button on that sales page that will take you to another page that goes over each lesson, so you can actually see what's inside, we'll read about it and all of that, and learn what's in there. So I hope if you're interested, you'll join me on the journey in the Pastel Insider, or just dip a toe in and even go watch the free lesson. You don't have to do anything. You can just go watch it. And that's what I think a lot of people don't understand too. Like, you don't have to have all the products, and with the free one, we're only doing 5 colors, but just even watching it to see if that's something that resonates with you. How's that feel? Are you feeling called to do that? But no matter what, I'm just really happy that you're here with me today. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm just so glad that you guys are all part of this community. And I hope that the one thing I hope, I wrote myself a note because I wanted to remember. Let me find my note here. Okay, so I challenge you that if you have a piece that's just somewhere that's waiting for you, you know, I want just this week, you know, just think about this, but I want you to just go stand in front of it or put it in front of you. You don't even have to touch it, but just look at it and just see what comes up. See how it, you know, feels, and give yourself a few minutes just to take it in. And I would love for you to do that for yourself today. So I gave you a little bit of homework. and I hope something in this live today may have touched you or resonated with you to help you on your creative journey. And it's just been a pleasure to walk this path with you. So I'm going to say my final goodbyes in chat here. So thank you, Louise, for all your kind words. Thank you, Michelle. It says hit that like button and subscribe. Right now, if you are here, if you haven't hit that like button, it's a free way to support me. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Michelle, for cheering everyone on. After the video gets uploaded, you can come back if you watch it again. I'm going to have timestamps for some of the big, you know, moments. And if you could leave a comment and tell me anything that is resonating with you or have a question, I would love that. So thank you, Michelle, for that. Michelle says, I'm so glad you went back to this. It's beautiful. Thank you, Michelle. Some paintings are just waiting. They just need to wait. Susan Thame says, I keep glancing and feel the bird will swoop right under the rainbow. Oh, I love that. Thank you, Susan. Such a joy to have you here. Let's see. Holly says, so beautiful and so fun to see the transformation. Thanks. You are welcome, Holly. I'm so glad that you came here today. Michelle Leslie, she says, highly recommends the Pastel Insider. Thank you, Michelle. You've been a longtime member. You have grown so much, and I am honored to be here with you. Stacy, thanks again for the super chat. That was very generous. So glad you had fun. So glad you're here. I wish you the best on your floors. Paula says, thank you, Dawn. You are welcome. Louise says, thank you, Dawn. It's always so lovely hanging out with you and everyone in this space. Your words of wisdom are always so helpful. That means a lot. I'm really, really touched that you feel that way. Stacy says, but I don't know. Bye. I don't know what you're saying there. Oh, I think you might be correcting yourself. Temple says, hugs, Dawn, and everyone take care. Ari says bye. Bye, Ari. Bye, Stacy. Sonny's saying goodbye to everyone if you can't hear him yet. I think my son's coming home from school. Timestamp the door story. I will do that, MJ. Thank you. I appreciate all your input, MJ. Thank you. You were wonderful in chat today, all of you. So take care, and I will see you. I have it written down here. Sonny, you're fine. The next live will be March 17th. So mark your calendars. Sorry about my dog. He's very excited that my son's home. So, all right, you guys, take care. I will see you on March 17th. All right, bye-bye.